With Mother's Day coming up, I thought it would be super fun to go through some crazy Reddit stories about Mother's Day or just mothers acting a mess in general. Today, we are going to be looking into some Reddit stories of some people just acting flat out crazy when it comes to celebrating Mother's Day or when it comes to mothers being too overbearing. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I do have a cold right now, so I do think this is gonna be a very short live stream, but a good live stream nonetheless. So we're going to waste no time before I run out of my voice and jump right into the first story. So let's have Bossy B bring us in. All right, y'all. So the first story that we have today is, am I the a-hole for telling my husband we will not be hosting for Mother's Day because of his mom? I am flying solo today. We don't have Kimmy here to help me. So let me get the banner up and let's see what we have to say. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband we will not be hosting for Mother's Day because of his mom? My husband, 28 male, and I, 27 female, have been together for about 8 years, and since the beginning, my mother-in-law's relationship had since the beginning, my mother-in-law's and I, my and my mother's-in-law's relationship has been rocky. That being said, I get along with his family very well and share my husband's love for hosting parties and gatherings. Recently, there's been a bit of drama in the family due to one of his sisters isolating herself and playing victim, stating no one makes an effort to reach out to her. A couple months ago, for mother in law's birthday, my husband had sent out a text to the family chat to invite everyone over. All celebrations and holidays are potluck in one of the five siblings' houses, with the host family doing majority of the work. Despite sister-in-law being in the chat, she complained to mother-in-law that my husband didn't have the decency to invite her. So he invited her in a group chat and she wanted him to reach out personally to invite her. Okay, let's see. Um, where were we at here? She said she would feel like an intruder if she showed up, but you were in the group chat. You got invited. Mother-in-law called my husband to say he should call his sister to apologize for excluding her and invite her formally. My husband simply said she's in the chat and no one else received anything formal, and she was welcome like everyone else, as she should have figured it out from being involved in the group chat. Like, is this girl new to the family? I don't understand. The day came and I, of course, I'm sorry, I'm making sure I'm in the right paragraph, y'all. The day came and I, of course, did the bulk of the work. Well, mother-in-law never showed up. She told another sister-in-law she would not be sharing a meal with someone who blatantly excluded one of her children. She did not get excluded. Dude, we all chose to have a great time and cut her cake ourselves and treated it like a family gathering instead of a birthday celebration. When everyone left, my husband apologized for mother-in-law's absence and thanked me for everything I did. I honestly felt so heartbroken because why would mother-in-law not think about the effort that was made? I calmly told my husband we would no longer be celebrating his mom at our house. He said he understood. I'm with you, girl. Like, why are you going to throw this big old fit about your daughter not knowing how to be an adult and participate in the group chat and just showing up? You don't need a personal horse and buggy to invite you to your mother's birthday party at your sibling's house. They go on to say, Today, he asked if we should invite everyone over for Mother's Day. I immediately said no. Sister-in-law is still behaving the same. Mother-in-law never apologized for what she did, and I refuse to have a redo. It was a few months ago, but the way he asked so nonchalantly triggered something in me. I reminded him we would no longer celebrate his mom in our house. He said that this was his mom's birthday. I clarified that anything to do with celebrating his mom is now off the table. Going out to dinner or taking something store-bought to one of his sister's houses for a future birthday of hers is fine, but I would no longer spend hours of my day for her. He asked me for how long, and I said it would be a permanent thing. He asked if I had forgiven her, and I said yes, but those were my new boundaries. He said that's not how it works and accused me of harboring resentment from years ago to make this a bigger problem. We ended the conversation with him agreeing we would not be hosting for Mother's Day, but he said he felt I was being petty. I might be, but the more I think about it, the more I feel like I'm not in the wrong for this boundary. So am I the a-hole? Is this person the a-hole for basically saying that she's no longer going to host his family, especially when it comes down to celebrating the mother? Or I guess she just said, I'm not hosting your mother anymore. I am leaning towards like, no, not the a-hole, because you're setting a boundary. If he wants to still host his family, I think they can have a bigger discussion. And if he wants to still host his family, then he does most of the work, not her. The siblings whose house is at does most of the work. So husband, it sounds like you have to get in the kitchen and cook if you want your mom to come over here for Mother's Day or birthdays or Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever holiday that you want to celebrate on behalf of your mom. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Reddit comments to see what they had to say. And like I said at the beginning, y'all, bear with me because I'm a little sick right now, so I might not be able to breathe in a few minutes, okay? So we don't have a poll today because I'm flying solo. I can't do the poll and a live stream at the same time. I'm not that good. Okay, so Reddit comments, not the a-hole. Both mother-in-law and sister-in-law sound rude and childish. The apple don't fall far from the tree, or didn't fall far from the tree. You made it clear to your husband about your boundary for your hosting future events for mother-in-law, and he is now backpedaling. If he wants to host, he can do it elsewhere, or one of the other 4 siblings can step up. If sister-in-law wants to be included, why can't she host? The whole family just sounds exhausting. Exactly. I agree with them. Someone else commented, says, or ultimately the husband can do all the work, including cooking, setting the table, hosting, cleaning, and so on. Oakby can just relax while watching her husband getting drained by all the work. Exactly what I said. Maybe husband should be the one to get in there and do all the work instead of her doing all the work. And then maybe he would realize how hurtful it is to spend all of your time and energy putting this thing together, and then your mother-in-law basically throws it in your face, slaps you in the face by saying that you were not being nice to my daughter. We sent it in a group text. Everybody else showed up. Why does she think that she needs to have trumpets and horns and paper invitations while everyone else just gets a group message text? So let's see what the Beehive has to say. We have, is it, oh, Isis Kit. Why was I saying is? Isis Kit Mo saying, wow, she's doing too much. Welcome into the live stream. I agree. Isis Kit Mo says she's acting like a golden child and mother-in-law is taking up for her without hearing any of the details. While her hubby is also getting there, he can host at his favorite sis home. Exactly. I agree. Either husband needs to host elsewhere or husband can host at his house and use, I mean, it's hard when you're married. You can't just use your money because it's all joined and commingled and all the things. But yeah, I don't see why he's putting all the pressure on her. If she's drawing the hard line that they can't even come to her house, I think that's doing a little bit too much. But if she's just saying she's not going to host and he has to do it all himself, I don't think that's unreasonable to do. So that is all that we have for that story. So let's jump right into the next story. And today, y'all, we have 4 stories. We already done 1. So let's jump right into the next one. Let's have my bookmark. Boom. And the next one that we have is, am I the a-hole for not letting my mother-in-law be involved while we're trying to conceive? Now, that would be a very weird thing that the mother-in-law wants to be a part of, but we all know some of those very overbearing boy moms. Sorry, guys, boy moms that are overbearing, and why would you want to be involved in the conversation around your son trying to make you a grandchild? I don't know, but let's see why. Am I the a-hole for not letting my mother-in-law be involved with while we're trying to conceive? Me, 27 female, and my husband, 35 male, have been together 7 years, married 2. We've decided to start our family, and we're really excited. The only roadblock has been my mother-in-law. She and my husband have always been super close. He slept in the same bed with her as her until he graduated from college. That's boy momish, okay? He and her talk on the phone at least 1 hour per day. When we got married, she wore an off-white dress to the wedding, and during her speech said that she was so sad to give up the love of her life away to another woman. This lady is insane. We ended up buying the house next door to her. buying the house next door to her so my husband could be close by if his mom needed him. So things have been really normal between the two of them up until now. We had her over for dinner recently, and us starting a family came up. My mother-in-law said that she wanted to be involved at every step of the way. Do you now? Do you want to be involved at every step of the way, ma'am? That seems a little bit overbearing. I asked her if she meant being at the hospital after I gave birth, and she said no. So I asked her if she meant be in the room when I delivered, and she said no, even earlier. I asked her how much earlier she could be involved, and she said she wanted to be there than conceived. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You want to be there the night that they conceive, as if everyone just gets pregnant off of one chance of trying. That is insane. So you want to be in the house while your son is making a baby? Okay, let's see what else she has to say. My husband nodded his head as she said this in total agreement. What is wrong with these people? I asked her if she was nuts. Yes, she is. She can be in the delivery room, but that's as far as I go. And you're nicer than me because I'm not letting you in the delivery room. No, thank you. She burst out crying and said that all of her friends had been involved in their daughter-in-law's pregnancies, and she wanted to do what none of them have ever done before. Yeah, because it's weird. That's why they're not doing that. Why? Who gave her this idea? She wants to be the best mother-in-law and be there. Like, what is she gonna do? Catch the goodies and put it into the wife? I'm so confused. I'm really so confused. How does she think she's gonna participate in this? Like, is this her in the room or her outside the door? Like, what is going on? Okay. I said, maybe there's a reason none of them have ever done it. Yeah, there is a reason. It's weird. She started wailing louder, saying it was her dying wish to be there when her grandbaby was conceived. That's so weird. You were there when you conceived your son. Is that not enough? I asked her if she was dying. And she said yes. So I asked her if it was a promise, and she stormed out. Oh my gosh. Are you dying? Yes. Is it a promise? She storms out of the house and my husband stormed off after her. And you live next door to this lady. You better be careful. I didn't read this one all the way, y'all. I thought I did, but I did not read this. My husband had texted me from his mom's house saying I was out of line. No, she's out of line. Okay. He said that we could compromise by having her outside the door, covering her ears and humming Pink Pony Club. What is that? But I put my foot down. His family has been blowing up my phone saying I am selfish and depriving my mother-in-law of a completely reasonable request. My husband said he will be staying in the safety and comfort of his mother's bed and will not return to ours until I'm willing to be reasonable. So am I the a-hole now? Have y'all ever seen those like videos where someone says, oh, I let my husband's niece move into my house, and it turns out it was actually his wife and she brought their kid to move, or his girlfriend, and she brought their kid to move in? This is coming off like this, like him and his mom are in a relationship. Because what do you mean as a 35-year-old man you're going to be sleeping in the comfort of your mom's bed until your wife starts to be more reasonable? Why does it, if he wants his mom to be a part of the conceiving journey, why doesn't he just have a baby with his mom at this point? Because at this point it's just getting weird. Okay, it's very, very weird. Y'all let me know in the chat. Let me check out what the comments have to say, because there is no way anybody can say that the OP is the a-hole. You have got to be exaggerating some of this story, because no one in their right mind will be that insane. And maybe I just don't know how crazy people are. Okay, maybe I just don't know. They say, oops, just realized this is a I don't know what that means. Post. Someone says, I was so flabbergasted halfway through, and so glad I double checked which sub it was in. Oh, is it a fake story? Oh, they got me. No, I don't think it's they put an S word post, so I guess it was a fake story. They had me going. Oh, it was a fake story, y'all. I should pay more attention, but they had me going. So they had me going. I don't think the comments are going to be any good because everyone realized that it's a fake story. So I'm just going to jump right into the beehive to see what y'all have to say because that got weird. It got weird and it was quick. I was like, this has to be fake because there's no way. No way. Welcome in, Mama Bear of One. I'm glad that you caught me live. We got Isis Kid says enmeshment. Oh my gosh. Why did she marry this man? OMG, I feel sorry for her. Geez. But the thing is, she knew this before they got married. Like, wanting to move next door to his mom, that would have been enough for me. Sleeping in bed with your mom. She said they've been together for 7 years. So at the age of 28, he was still sleeping or no, I guess he stopped sleeping in her bed when he was in college. First of all, you can never beat that out of me. Like, how did she even learn this information? And second of all, yeah, no, I would have to stop dating you at that point because what do you mean you were sleeping in the bed even while you were in college? So you weren't out partying with the other college kids. You were at home cuddling up with mom? Okay, that's weird. Mama Bear of One says, and gross, yes, it is. It's gross, saying no, it got worse. As it went on, it continued to get worse. Isis Kid Mo says, it just keeps getting worse, yes. Is OP just a broodmare? I guess that means like kind of like a cover up, like a beard. She needs to leave before she has a baby with this man. Yeah, like I said, she might as well go and have a baby with the mom at this point. I'm glad that someone in the comments pointed out very early on that it was a fake post because like just a made up story. I wish I would have realized that before I got that deep and invested in this conversation. But I'm glad it wasn't real. If you are dealing with a man baby child like that in real life and you think you have a similar story to this, maybe not as intense, get rid of him because that's weird. It's really, really weird. So I'm going to say that OP is the a-hole for giving us that fake story, but not the a-hole if the story was based on true events, okay? Oh my gosh, y'all. Like I said earlier, if you guys are coming in late, it is going to be a shorter stream because I do have a cold. I'm a little sick. So it's going to be a shorter stream. Let's go ahead and jump into our second to last story. So sorry for the people that came late, but please watch the replay so you can catch the other stories before this. And then before I do that, let me see what Mama Bear of One says. A broodmare means you're just there to make baby. Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't be a beard because they're opposite sex, but yeah. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. I'm glad it was a fake story, though. I am glad it was a fake story. So now let's jump into the next one. This one has to do with a wife and a husband, or I guess all of them have kind of had to do with wife and husband, but celebrating the actual wife for Mother's Day is what we're talking about next. So, am I the a-hole for missing half of Mother's Day? What do you mean by that? Okay. I've been invited to a bachelor party that is going from Friday night to Monday. It's a huge cabin in the woods, and this is not a hard partying group. So this won't be strippers and drugs party, but more of a boards, games, drinks, and hikes party. There are 12 guys coming. The place we booked has a 3-night minimum. So that's how we ended up with the timing going through Mother's Day. Most of the group is staying until Monday. I told my fiance about this months ago and said I would plan to be home on Sunday, Mother's Day, and not stay for the full trip. I plan to get home around 1 p.m., have a dinner reservation, presents, a card, and flowers. Yesterday we were talking and I brought up the plan, and it seems my fiance thought I was planning on coming home on Saturday. I definitely never said that. She lost it, started bawling and saying that I shouldn't come back at all on Sunday if I'm not going to be there in the morning. So, husband had a plan to do a bachelor party and come home on the actual Sunday. Wife is upset because he's going to come back around 1 p.m. instead of waking her up with breakfast in bed in the morning, apparently. That's what I'm getting from this, okay? A couple more things for context. For Father's Day, we were away with her friend on her friend's wedding. She woke up early, did some thoughtful things, and I woke up to presents and treats. But we did also spend 7 hours driving from an event we attended for her on Father's Day. It was thoughtful, and I don't want to complain. It just seems a little ironic that this is the most recent comparison. Our baby is 14 months, so this is her second Mother's Day. So she's already had one Mother's Day, but being that the baby is 14 months, that means it was like 2 months at the last Mother's Day, and maybe she was going through a lot and didn't get the full experience that she really wanted. But also, sounds like he didn't get the full experience that he really wanted because he was celebrating someone else's wedding on Father's Day. So, I mean, I think it can go both ways here. Let's keep going. Also, for context, we've had frequent fights about me spending time with my friends. We recently had 2 big fights about me coming home sober at 10 p.m., which doesn't sound bad for a lot of relationships, right? After seeing my friends months apart, when she thought I should have been home at 9, so 1 hour later than what she would have wanted him to be home. Most of the friends I'm seeing on this trip, I haven't seen in 6 to 8 months. It seems like I'm almost never seeing my friends, and every time I do, I have to get in fights about it. So, am I the a-hole for planning to miss half of Mother's Day? I don't know if we can even count it as half because really, how early are we waking up in the morning? So, let's say you wake up around 9. You bring her breakfast, and then 9 is kind of late. Let's say 8 o'clock. You wake up at 8 o'clock. Okay, it's 4 hours, 5 hours. It's not really half. You still have like 8 hours in the day from 1 to 9 to really get things done, dinner, all the things. And you still plan on doing all the special things once you get home. Now, I think what kind of justifies his reasoning is that she didn't really give him the same courtesy for his actual first Father's Day versus her having a first Mother's Day that seems to have been fully dedicated to her. But again, we don't know. Maybe she was going through postpartum or something. But I don't think he's wrong for missing half of Mother's Day. I'm also not a mom, so I guess I can't really speak on it. But I don't think he's wrong. I think he's still being considerate, and he talked to her about it before. Why didn't she raise the issue? What it seems like to me is that she doesn't want him to hang out with his friends. Of course, he's the one writing it. So of course he's going to include information to make us think that she doesn't want him hanging out with his friends, but I'm leaning that way. So y'all let me know what y'all think if you got thoughts on this, and let's jump into the Reddit comments on this one. Okay. So, first comment says, you attended the wedding with her on Father's Day together. You're going to be away the entire morning of Mother's Day while she wakes up alone with the baby. So I don't think that's a similar comparison. Oh, they're actually on her side. Do you really think you will be back by 1 p.m. to celebrate with her? Asking because sometimes these things run longer than you think, and if you get back later, that might make things worse. And she's already having problems with what he's doing. So I don't know. I don't know. Someone responds to that comment and says, I disagree. Yes, they were technically together, but what did he get to do for his Father's Day? Spent the whole weekend at her family's wedding, and then after a few gifts and treats, he gets to drive 7 hours home. Yay. Sounds like fun. Yes, he won't be there until 1, but at least he planned to actually celebrate Mother's Day with her, planning dinner out, cards, gifts, and flowers. No, it's not a similar comparison because it sounds like he's still giving her a better Mother's Day than he got as a Father's Day. His first Father's Day, let's remember that. Sounds to me from the whole story that wife is entitled and controlling. She yelled at him for getting home sober at 10 because she wanted him home by 9. I'm a mom of 4 and can see this relationship is unbalanced. It does seem like the wife has a lot more control than the husband in the situation. Okay. There is an info post that says, you said you'd be home for Mother's Day, but did you clearly communicate exactly when you intended to be home, or did you think it was implied? It doesn't really matter what you didn't say. What matters is what you did say. Someone else says, so she spent Father's Day with you and made sure you had presents, etc. But since you had to drive somewhere with her, that negates it, correct? Question mark. She thought you would be there for Mother's Day. You won't be, you're the a-hole. I'm still on he's not the a-hole. So y'all gonna let me know what y'all think about this one. We got Mama Bear saying, I agree. I think this has been discussed months in advance and agreed to. And now there's the truth of the matter is that they don't like when they're hanging out with each other's friends. That's what it seems like. But it almost seems like more of her because but I guess he's going by himself, so I guess you can't say it's just her. I think she wants him home, and I get having a 14-month-old is probably hard. And like I said, maybe she didn't really enjoy her first Mother's Day like that, but it sounds like he didn't really enjoy his either. How about we start fresh on year 3? And no one goes anywhere on either Mother's Day or Father's Day. And my question is, who's throwing holiday and events on Mother's Days and Father's Day? I have to be quiet because I actually got married on Mother's Day weekend. That's why I have to do my anniversary trip the week before because I got married on Mother's Day weekend. You still have to celebrate your mothers, even though you are old and grown and out of the house. So I guess you can do that, but I didn't get married on actual Mother's Day. I just got married on the Friday of that weekend. So some days my anniversary will fall on Mother's Day. Like I think this year it might. I don't know if it's this year. No, it doesn't fall this year. Maybe it was last year. It fell on them. Okay. I says Kid Mo says, True seems he might be downplaying the friends issue. Yeah. It seems like he's throwing in a little bit of extra information. Like she never wants me to hang out with my friends. See, look at this. Look at this. What they did to me. Okay. I think that one wasn't that eventful. I don't think he's an a-hole at this point, though. I can say that. I don't think he's an a-hole. I think we need more information, okay? I want to hear the wife's side because you're making her seem like a crazy psycho chick, okay? Let's go ahead and jump into the last story for the night. So this one is, am I the a-hole for refusing to spend Mother's Day with my ex and his wife? Celebrating her so our kids will. So this lady divorced this man. He has a new wife. His new wife wants her kids to celebrate her for Mother's Day on Mother's Day with her. It's too much. It's too much, y'all. This one is kind of a long one. So bear with me because I might struggle through it. I'm already running out of voice right now, but bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. So am I the a-hole for refusing to spend Mother's Day with my ex and his wife celebrating her so our kids will? My ex-husband and I share custody of our 17-year-old daughter and 15-year-old son. We divorced 12 years ago and we co-parented with difficulty ever since. My ex is remarried and there was tension between the three of us for the majority of that time. My ex's wife came in with huge expectations of what she would be to the kids and how involved I would be, and none of it was realistic. Now, like I said, I don't have kids. My husband does not have kids. But when I hear stories like this for stepmoms to kind of come in and be entitled and think they're going to step all over the mom, I think it's a bad idea all around. I think everybody just has to be on the same page. You have to be at the level that the parents are comfortable with. Even if you want to come in and be super loving and everything, and you guys want to be best friends, if the mom doesn't want to be best friends with you, don't force her to be best friends with you. It can be overbearing for the biological parents, and it can also be overbearing for the kids. So let's go on. She thought I would agree to giving my ex primary custody. What? She thought I would agree to giving my ex primary custody and I would be a 1 weekend a month mom. She wanted to replace you. When that wasn't what happened, she expected everything mom related to be split equally between us. But you're not their mom. Like, you're their stepmom. You can still celebrate, just not on my day. What are you talking about? So alternating Mother's Day, taking turns doing the Mother's Day events at schools or activities, and even changing who was listed as mom on certain forms. What is wrong with this lady? As she really believed that was something I would do and something that would cause zero problems with schools and doctors. She expected the kids to call her mom as soon as her wedding ring was on her finger, and she believed would encourage, meaning force them to call her mom. This was a long-standing expectation that never got met, not one time. Now, I'll tell you something like this. Courts do not like that. So if that's that mom went in there saying, oh, well, she's isolating me because she's not making her kids call me mom, Courts do not like that. You cannot force somebody's kids to call you mom. Now, if they voluntarily do it on their own, that's love, right? They can do that if they want to, but they are not going to order those kids to call you mom if you're not their mom, okay? She expected to have the same legal authority as my ex and I, and that she would get to make certain decisions for the kids without my ex's or my input. Those being where they went to school, the doctors they saw, and what summer camps they'd go to, and for how long. How did the ex stay married to this lady for so long? She sounds like a nutcase. She expected to decide a religion for them. She sounds crazy, okay? She sounds absolutely out of her mind. She wanted to change their last name to a hyphenated name with hers and mine and the ex's. So you wanted them to have 3 last names? So she doesn't even have the ex's last name? Okay. She fully expected this to happen too. There was more than a year of her throwing a tantrum because I shut down the idea. You wanted those kids to have 3 names? That's crazy. My ex's wife comes from money and is used to having things her own way. So not getting her expectations met made her increasingly bitter towards me. She alienated my kids by being too pushy, controlling, and trying to change their lives to fit what she believes they should be. Case in point, she tried to fight to get them into private school and pressured them to ask me. She wanted my daughter to be in cheer and music classes up to 6 times a week, and she wanted my son in football and boxing 6 times a week. My kids weren't interested in those activities, and she brought them along multiple times and tried to make them take part. She told them that's what boys and girls did. This lady is weird. She insulted the parents of my son's best friend and then attempted to stop all contact between the 2 kids. She hated me for refusing to back her up. The kids hated her for all of this. While she was thinking of them as her kids, they were wishing their dad would divorce her, and I know they asked at least twice for him to do just that. When his wife learned, she blamed me. Like, you're being weird. You're making them not like you. Why are you blaming the ex? The kids make a point of spending as little time as possible with her. They do not appreciate her, and that bothers my ex and his wife. He and I have discussed it, but he told me they should, and that I was bitter. But he told me that they should, and that I was bitter for not making them appreciate her. He said she made their lives better no matter what the kids think or say. They don't like you, though. My ex and his wife did not have a child together until last year, and this coming Mother's Day is her first one as a mom. The day has always been a sore topic for her because the kids are with me, and she doesn't have anyone but my ex treated her like a mom. Now she officially is one and believes that would mean my kids would be there for Mother's Day. No, going forward. But they set the record straight. And they're like 15 and 17. If they want to spend time with you for Mother's Day, they would do that. They would celebrate with you on a different day. Why do you think that you get Mother's Day with these grown kids? Like, these are not even babies. These are grown kids that don't even like you. Okay. So now my ex has come up with the insane idea that I should spend the day celebrating his wife and join in their Mother's Day celebration. He said she's worth celebrating. To you, not to her. What are you talking about? It's her first time having her own child on Mother's Day, and our kids should be there, but won't if I'm not. That's not her problem. I shut this idea down hard, and I told him I would not spend the day with his wife. He tried to turn it into a fight, but I walked away from him and have not answered his call since. That's what's good about being separated. Go to your own house. Let him crash out somewhere else, okay? He has sent a few texts telling me I need to reconsider, but I ignored those as well, and then he sent his sister after me. She told me it was so petty of me not to even consider meeting in the middle somewhere, and then she stated I was rude about everything. Why don't you go and celebrate this lady on Mother's Day then? She don't have to celebrate that lady. What are you talking about? She said I was the reason the kids didn't like the stepmother, and with a half sibling now, I needed to figure it out. I walked away from her as well, but more texts from my ex followed. The thing is that the kids are 15 and 17. If they wanted to, do that, they would. And I think that the stepmom is very weird for even trying to do it on Mother's Day. Like maybe you can do the weekend after or the weekend before. Hence why I celebrate my anniversary the weekends before Mother's Day, because I'm not a mother, but I do have a mother, right? The only thing giving me pause is the fact that my ex's family doesn't like the new wife. So the fact my ex's sister said what she did is making me question a tiny bit if I'm the a-hole. So is this OP the a-hole for not wanting to celebrate her ex's wife? I don't know. Let's see what Reddit comments have to say. And then we're going to jump into the Beehive comments now. We got a comment with a lot of cuss words. So we are going to bring out the censor. I can't hear the censor though. I'm sorry for beeping in y'all ear. I'm trying to hear my censor, but I don't know how. Maybe I have to do this. Nope, that's not it. Let's do this. And then this. Nope. Oh, I think I know what it is. I have to do this. Nope. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I forgot how to do it to where I can hear the beep. But I think y'all can hear the beep still. So I want to know how to do it. Is it this one? No, it's not that. Not that. Whatever. They said, hey, hi, F her, and who gives a S word about her expectations? Also, how is this in any way your job? I'm sorry, y'all. I know I was beeping in y'all ear, but I can't hear it, so it frustrates me. So I don't want to think I'm beeping and I'm not beeping, and it's a problem. Okay. So yeah, not OP's problem. OP says, I'm still unsure of how it's my job, I suppose, because I ruined her precious little expectations. Someone else comments and says, well, it's not so stick to your guns. Your kids are of the age now that they are going to formulate their own opinions and ways of interaction with her. If your ex isn't careful, they can very easily decide at age 18 that they don't want anything to do with the woman at all. Or the dad, for that matter. Like, why are you forcing your grown kids? Like, these are grown kids. These are not 2 and 3 year olds. 15, 17, about to graduate high school, about to be on their own. They don't have to deal with y'all. They really don't. So stop blaming the mom, okay? Someone else says, when we divorced, I said nothing negative to them about their father for years. He remarried and I have only nice thoughts about her. But one day the kids came home from a visit with dad and one child approached me annoyed. Before I could ask, child announced, Mom, do you know that dad is a real jerk? I guess I did a good job of hiding my disdain for him. I replied, did something happen? Late teen child burst into a list of 6 to 7 outrageous and idiotic choices their father had made and several bold-faced lies he told them. The kids went low contact with him and now only see him on holidays. Your children are not fools. They see what they see. When they turn 18, they will be able to choose. Let them know this. Exactly. Definitely agree. Kids are not dumb. Even, I know I keep saying that they're 15, they're 17, they're grown, they can make decisions, whatever. Kids start to realize that stuff way younger than 15. I would say maybe around 9, you might get some kids kind of giving some pushback because maybe dad's wife is a little annoying or maybe dad is a little bit annoying. They know these things. You can't really put that into kids' heads. Maybe 2 or 3, maybe under 5. Maybe you can put things into kids' head. But after a certain point, kids start to develop their own thoughts. And if you don't think that they can, you think that they're dumb and they're really not going to like you, okay? They're really not going to like you. So let's see where we were with the chats. Okay, so Mama Bear of One says, no, ma'am. If I have a kid and am split with the baby daddy, it's between him and me only. This lady is crazy. Yeah, celebrate Father's Day with him. You can split Father's Day with him because you are on Father's time, okay? You can't take her holiday. You cannot do that. That's like her wanting to spend time with her kids on freaking the ex-wife's birthday. Like, no, absolutely not. Isis Kit says, wow, this woman is bold. She needs help. She needs to see the people. Not the people. Who are the people? She needs to see the people. Wait, where'd the chat go? She needs to see the people. Wow, there are no words for the woman, her level of entitlement. She sees these children as dolls that don't have any autonomy. And to think that they have not formed their own opinion about you 12 years later. I don't know how long the wife and the dad has been together, but for you to think that they are not capable of forming their own opinion probably makes them resent you even more. Mama Bear says, "Oh, and I would probably go back to court and explain with detail with how going on with." Can I read? Oh, and I would probably go back to court and explain with detail what was going on and ask for more custody time for my children's emotional well-being. You don't even have to do that, honestly. At that age, with them being 15 and 17 in most states, if you take them to court and they go in and they tell the mediator, like, yeah, I want to spend primarily all my time with my mom. I'll see my dad once a weekend each month. They'll usually say the children have discretion to go to either parent's house. They'll make those custody orders because the issue is, at least in California, I know that a lot of other states do this too. I don't know their exact ages. In California, once you're 14, the court or the law sees it that the parent cannot control the child. So they don't have the custody order are against the parents. They're not against the children. The court cannot order the children to do anything. The children are not parties to the case. They're basically almost, as bad as it sounds, kind of treated like property. Like, you get this kid, you get this kid, you get this car, you get this house. Like, it sounds bad, but technically that's how it is. They're not parties to their case. They're just in the case. So when the court makes order, like, okay, well, the kid is supposed to be with dad this week and mom this week. If the kid says they're not going to go, the court expects for parents to be able to convince their kids to go when they're under the age of 14. And sometimes you start blurring that line around 12, just depending on how advanced the kid is. There's some gray area, but that 14 mark, the court is most likely going to say, at least in California, that mom does not have the ability to comply with the order. If a 14-year-old is kicking and screaming and saying that they don't want to go over there, they're not going to force them to go over there, because the risk that you run is that they're going to run away, and then you got to call the cops and you got to find them and all the things. So they're not going to force older kids to go and do any. You can't force older kids to go and do anything because they do have their own autonomy. Isis Kid, and not to say that little kids don't, but parents have more influence over younger kids, if that makes sense. Isis Kid says, if the daddy don't watch out, they'll soon go no contact with him because of his cray-cray wife. Agreed. Absolutely agree. Mama Bear says they sure will go no contact. He's running the risk by supporting his crazy wife. Isis Kid says, who knows what her ex-hubby told his sister? Yep, that too. I don't like when other family members get all involved. Like, just stay in your lane. Talk mess behind my back. Don't come talking mess to me, because you are not going to like the outcome of that, okay? You are not going to like the outcome of that. Hey, Tanya D. Our destined to be, I still saying Tanya D. Dang, it's been a long time since you changed your name. But yes, destined to be, hey, hello, and welcome in. Nice to have you back. Isis Kid says, we could hear the beep. Yeah, I figured y'all could hear. I couldn't hear it, so I was testing it out, and I shouldn't have done that. Oh, maybe I have to press this. Oh, nope, that's not the right thing. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it off stream so I'm not beeping everybody up. Mama Bear 1 says, I would give them one compromise and that's it. I would say they could come for lunch and or dinner for like a couple hours and then pick them up, but I would not stay and I would not pick them up on time. You're nicer than me. That lady could kick rocks. Why is she not happy with the one baby that she has? Like, she should be focusing on spending her time with that baby, but because that baby can't gawk and awe at her because it probably can't talk. She wants to show off to her family and her friends that, oh, look at me, I'm stepmom of the year. I even got bio mom to finally comply. No. It doesn't work like that. Mama Bear says, and if it wasn't good enough, they wouldn't be coming. But also, as a mama whose child is officially 18 at this point, when they're in their teens, they have a right to say no. And if you respect it, I think so. I think I read that right. Yes, they have the right to say no. They're gonna say no. Half the time, your biological parent can't get you to do what you want them to do at that age. So yeah, no, lady, I don't think that OP is the a-hole. I think that the stepmom is a weirdo. Like, why are you trying to force these grown kids, like I said, to interact with you and then force their mom? Like, not only is she trying to force the kids that are almost out of high school, right? One just started high school, but around, of age where they're making decisions, they're hanging out with their friends, they're making their own hobbies, all of the things. Not only are you trying to control those kids, you are also trying to control a grown lady that left the husband. I see why she left the husband. The husband clearly cannot stand on business and tell his wife to stop acting cray-cray, okay? She wanted to give those kids her last name. For what? Why didn't you take your husband's last name? Now, OP did say that the stepmom came from money, so the kids might miss out on a lovely inheritance, but sometimes your peace of mind is more than a little bit of money here and there, right? So, no, I don't think that OP is the a-hole. That is all that I had for today's live stream. So, thank you everyone that joined me and stuck with me. I got to go and get my little code together and get my life together. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thank y'all all for joining me live, and I will see y'all all on the next live stream. Bye.